Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Sup Podcast. I am one of your hosts. I am Lawrence DeLoach, and with me, I got my main man on the trigger, Chris Cheney.
What's up, guys?
And unfortunately, we have our guest host today. He's been demoted. I'm being honest with you. He got me tight this week, so he's been demoted. Luke Trovese, what's up, man?
I just want to say, where were you guys? You didn't have my back at all.
We did not. And you know what? You pissed Chris and I off so much that we brought in a special guest today because we're debating. You know, you're teetering right now, bro. It's my main man, Haas. Haas, what's up, Haas?
How's it going, guys? Glad to be here.
Pleasure to have you.
As the third guest. As the third host.
Yeah, that's right. Get your shit right, too.
Oh, no. I'm prouder to be here than anybody.
Haas, man, I told Chris and Luke that I wanted you to do the podcast. I met you probably over a year ago, man. We had an interesting night that night of conversation. And I was like, anytime I could talk to someone about sneakers and I'm like, he doesn't piss me off and sound stupid about it, I'm like, fuck it. I fucks with this dude. And so I was like, we definitely got to have you on. You have a great podcast that I actually did called My First Kicks.
Yeah.
Tell everyone a little bit about it.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, thanks for letting me jump on. And you were an amazing guest when I had you on and talked about a crazy story. But the main thing about the podcast called My First Kicks is where I just talk to people about that first pair of sneaker that they needed to absolutely have. And then from there, we just build on and I learn more about their sneaker journey and where they are from that first pair to now. And it's been a crazy ride, just hearing all these crazy stories. You had that crazy story that I still tell people about somebody getting stabbed on the line.
On the fragment line, bro. I listen, I'm gonna tell my grandkids about that shit, yo. Like that was one of the wildest days ever. So I'm glad you're here. We got a lot of stuff to digest, get into this week.
Yeah.
But I think before we really even get into it, Luke, you owe people an apology. You did give people an apology on social media, and we're gonna talk about why, but Luke, what do you have to say for yourself, bro?
Explain what happened. What did you do?
What do you mean? What did I do?
Why
you did?
Yeah. Why? Explain to the listeners why we're so mad at you.
Okay, so our social media manager hit us up and was like, "Hey, pick a picture to put online. We're gonna do like a sneaker, like a flashback Friday of you guys in your kicks." And I was like, "Okay, I don't have any pictures with kicks in them. The only one that I have is these Tims," and I had nothing else for that one thing, and I sent it out because that's all I had.
What about those Tims?
The Tims were the laces were choked. The laces were choked. It was a rainy day. I was outside.
Your laces were choked, and then one of our previous guests, Pedia Diabru, which if you remember that episode, great guest, he called you out and said, "Wow, you are strangling those Timberlands."
He did not say that. All right. I want to make this clear to the listeners. He did not say that. You can find it on the Instagram.
Chris, I think you added that in there, bro.
You added that in there. That was your own flavor. All right. He specifically said, "Why does it look like my friend here did a tour in Afghanistan?"
Yes.
Which is fair because I did have the camo pants on. And you know what? It was Guile night. All right. It was Street Fighter night. I picked Guile. All right. It was raining outside. All right.
Listen,
that's right.
Just apologize to the people so we can move on and we can get into this shit we got to talk about this week, bro.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of Sub Podcast, I, Luke Trovese, are coming on here to apologize for the behaviors of a previous day. I did not believe that I should have done that. I chose utility over my fellow New Yorker. I am very sorry. I hope you can forgive me. Sub Podcast forever. Watch the Intern Show.
All right, I accept your apology. I think Chris does, and Haas does too. You did post me and a nice photo of me wearing the original off-white Prestos, part of the 10. So I do appreciate that. You didn't tell me what picture you were going to post of me on stage.
Wait. Let's make this clear. The social media manager did that.
Right. The social media.
Social
manager.
media.
Social media manager did that. I had nothing to do with that. All right.
All right.
The social media manager also did not advise against me. He said in the thing, "Oh, we tried to tell him." Nobody tried to tell me.
All right. Well, the social media manager posted a nice picture of me wearing the off-white Prestos, the OG part of the original 10, and Virgil's back in the news, so I think that's what we got to start this week, bro. Now we talking. It goes from the 10 to the 20, and he had this website. And Chris, you're like a really technical website crasher buster dude. Tell me a little bit about that website, bro.
That website is fire.
The website's really crazy. And what I will first off say is I think this is more of Kanye influence. Because if you remember a lot of Kanye's aesthetic, as I'm pulling up this website here, he had like that messenger, like computer Mac shit going on. Like a lot of the shit that he was doing was like, it looks like it's an iMessage. It looks like it's Mac shit, right? So basically, this public domain website looks like a desktop. So there's a lot going on. My computer hates what's happening here. So basically we got videos in the background. There's a whole bunch of shit. So basically here it looks like a Finder window.
Okay.
So you can see on the bottom here, you have the original 10, and then you have these actually pendings, which is I think a lot of the things that we've seen before, like the canary yellow ones. You know, some of these other things are about to come out. But basically, this archive folder, he had all these file references that you could just look at. So it looks like it's a computer screen, like I said, Finder window, but you can just like pick all these things and look at it. You know, you could double click, look at them both. What's crazy is all these files that are actual files that they use to send to the factories. He made them available to download in that first like initial launch.
Okay.
So I didn't know that. I'm looking at these. I'm looking online. I'm seeing people saying that they downloaded some of this shit. So I'm on Instagram going like, yo, where's everyone getting these files from? Like, they're all JPEGs to me. I can't get them. Someone hits me with a retransfer of all the stuff that he could download. So now I have actual files that I put on the Google Drive for anyone who wants them to download off the SUP Google Drive.
Is that going to be in the bio?
It's going to be in the bio.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on here though. So these files are one thing, you know, the shit on the bottom where it's like actually pending these shoes that might be in the 20. And then over on the top right here, you have this free game in quotes. And basically that's Virgil putting, just goes to this website here. Virgil puts a bunch of links to how to like make a website, how to start your own brand. They're actually really good resources for young kids.
Haas, what are your thoughts on? I know you saw some of the pictures. What is some of your thoughts on the next 20 or the leaks that we saw so far?
So I think everybody's assuming that the next batch that the pending, which people have figured out what they are. I don't think they're part of the 20. I think those are just the next releases he's putting out. My guess is that he's actually just going to remix the top 10 and just do like either a different colorway or get an extra 10 on top of those top 10 and then like do the same original colorway, if you get what I'm saying. That's my guess though.
What the rumors are for the listeners out there, there's supposed to be the two Futura dunks.
Yep.
There's supposed to be a canary yellow Air Jordan 1. We got the court flares. That's a new model. The flares and then there's a couple Air Force Ones in there. That's what are rumored to be.
What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Chris.
What I was going to say is I think these are the 20.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying where I think because we've seen them before, but I don't think he had I don't think he has all the release leeway that he used to just come out with all that shoes again. I think they're kind of like winding him down and this is like the grand finale. And I think it's just the stuff that he's been working on with those samples.
I will say that I do think there's going to be a lot of Off-White, especially the fact that, Off-White Nike this year, because we did lose Jerry to Adidas. I think, Drake has his collab coming out, I think like in the fourth quarter of 2021.
Right.
Trav is always going to be there and he's still going to be able to pump, a single model here and there. But I think they do realize that if we can go back a little bit in time and realize that from 2014 maybe to 2016, Adidas had such a hold on the market in terms of the releases that they were pumping out with Kanye and and NMDs and Ultra Boost, that if you remember, that wasn't, I mean, Nike is always going to be Nike, but they did not have the hold that they did until they gave Virgil that lane in 2017.
Yeah.
And at
got
that point,
everybody hooked on the sneakers app.
and it got it. Well, not only that, but just the way that a pair of sneakers were marketed. We first saw Virgil in at the Met Gala wearing a pair of Chicago Jordan 1s, and I think that was one of the first times that I can remember sneakers being used in that lane.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it is in Nike's best interest to kind of see what Virgil can give him that reign. And until now, I will say this: I do like the Canary ones. But what I'm really looking forward to is trying to get a pair of Bread Force, which I think that's the off-white that so many people want.
Yeah.
Haas, do you have any of the 10?
Yeah. Oh no. I don't. I only have. I wish I did, but I only have I have both 5s. I have both.
Oh, nice. Okay, respectable. Still,
bro. That's the way. Yeah, that's still.
I wish.
And then
that's $3,000, bro. Respect.
Yeah. And then I also have the second Converse, the one with the black and white bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, with like the caution.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Luke, what were you gonna say? I think I cut you off.
So my whole thing with this is I think that like, yeah, the ones that are pending are going to actually be in the 20. I think there's going to be like, I don't know how many more there would be. Was that like 4 more that they haven't shown us?
Something like that.
It would be 20. But I also think that they're going to re-release the original 10 to make it a full 20.
I don't know.
There's no way they're going to, I mean, if they release.
Here's what I think. Here's why I think that. So remember the poll that they put out like 3 weeks ago with like that made no fucking sense on sneakers?
Oh, the which one's better, the Air Jordan 1?
Which would you rather have right now? The Off-White Chicago 1 or a Jordan 1 Chicago?
Oh, yeah.
And they chose, the fans chose, 62% chose the Off-White Chicago Jordan 1. Sales numbers for Nike have actually been declining since the summer. I think they're trying to make a big splash in 2021 because like they're losing stock value right now. So that maybe like it's just the timing is so crazy that you're gonna have this poll, then immediately you're gonna have the Off-White 20, and then you're gonna call it the 20 and not call it just like just call it the releases for the year, and then have the 10. I don't know, man. Call me an optimist. You're
being.
I'm gonna call you crazy.
Yeah, I'm calling you crazy as fuck right now, bro.
I think the Timbs are so tight that he's losing blood.
He's losing circulation everywhere.
Luke, there's no way that Nike will not re-release the Chicagos or the OG Prestos. Just like we see with like Tom Sachs, like what we're seeing right now with Marjorie, like they'll give you a version of it, but they're not going to give you that same model that came out 3 years ago. And like I said, we may get Canary Yellow, Jordan 1s. We may get, a red Air Max 90. We may get some yellow Air Force 1s, but we're not going to see anything as part of like the original 10. It's just that part is not happening.
Yeah, Luke, you bugging for that one. But you did point out that there's 4 we haven't seen. I think we can have a little fun speculating. Haas, maybe we'll go to you first as the guest. I mean, what would you like to see out of the 4 remaining ones for this 20?
Well, I mean, they already got. But like, so for me, it doesn't make sense that they're putting out 2 dunks. So I guess like I want to see a blazer, like, but a SB blazer, not the blazer, not the GR blazers with the strap on the side or whatever. Like, I want to see like an SB blazer re-engineered.
Okay.
Real quick to disagree with you, and I know you said like, why put out a dunk? It's like, why not put out a dunk? Everyone and their mother. That's not what you said. Okay, cool. Okay, all right.
I don't get why they're putting out 2 and then calling it part of the top.
Part of the 10. Okay, part of. See, I feel like now is like we saw the Futura dunks, like we saw like shots of them last year,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, oh man, are these gonna come out? So now it's like, fuck it. I mean, they're gonna milk the dunk hype to the moon. So yeah,
Sure.
I get what you're saying. So it's like, yeah, maybe they should only put out one, but it's like, man, listen, if dunks right now are going this crazy, I'm not shocked that they're putting out 2 or 3 just to capitalize on where we're at in Dunk Mania 2021.
I mean, what do you want to see though? Do you think they're going to keep doing more dunks, like you're saying, building off that hype, or what?
Well, you gotta remember, Virgil did the 3 dunks as the standalone in 2019, I believe, late 2019. So, what would I like to see? I think obviously I like to see a Air Jordan 4. And that his take on the black and red colorway, black, red, and cement colorway or whatever. I think that's mainly it.
Oh, can I take mine back?
Of course you can.
I want a 3. I want to see a 3.
See that this is where I was going to go, because we have a 1, a 4, and a 5.
Yeah.
He skipped over 2 and 3 for whatever reason, and his buddy Don C is known for the 2. I'm kind of thinking there might be some 2 shit going on.
Ooh, okay.
Now, Luke, what do you think?
I want another Presto.
I mean, that Presto is a classic.
Great,
So I get that.
classic. Yeah. Give me another one, please. Another one. I'm dying out here.
Not a yellow one, but
no, not. Ooh, that would really look like banana shoes.
Yeah, that would be a banana shoe for sure.
I'd get it though. So yeah, I would say Prestos. I don't know what else I would want. I would. Maybe a 9. I want to see him do a 9, just because like I've never seen anybody work with a 9 in any way, shape.
No one's touching a 9.
Exactly. I want to see it happen.
I'm saying you guys asking for Jordan 2 collabs are like, that's touching it. That's pushing it.
I mean, Melo had to freaking be like, hey man, hook it up in order to.
Melo had to beg. That's right. Melo was like, yo, come on, son.
I can count probably on one hand how many Jordan 2 collabs I've seen in my life, like a Eminem, a Melo, Don C.
Yeah, that's not a lot.
It's not many that I can think of off the top of my head. So,
but to me, that makes sense in the lineage of what this is. You know what I mean? Like storytelling, you can't ignore where his camp has done, like the Kanye camp, Virgil, Don C. I feel like there's something in there in the mix that could happen. That's all.
So at the end of the day, guys, we're gonna be teased for a long 2021 until these come out. And if you remember what the first 10 was like, it was insane to get a pair. It was hard. I just remember even being on the sneakers app, the shit was crashing. People were having a tough time being able to purchase. So we can look forward to that part 2, guys.
I smell the L. Like I just smell it.
Smell it, right?
Yeah, I smell it.
Mad L's.
I do want to change gears a little bit. We are in full sports seasons. Sports is football playoffs, hockey starting back. We had a huge trade in the NBA this week. My man Jim Harden, I call him Jim Harden, man got traded to the Brooklyn Nets. He did not want to play in Houston anymore.
No.
And he's playing with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, man. And Kyrie, even though he's a little off at times. What are you guys thinking about the trade?
Haas, I will defer to you as the guest.
Imagine if just like I don't watch sports. That'd be hilarious.
You're like, yeah, I don't even know. Like, there's a team called the Nets. I don't get it.
Aren't they in New Jersey? Like, this trade was crazy, and I've been joking about it the entire time. Just like when I saw I was just like, I kept saying, I tweeted immediately that James Harden's numbers are going to go down because there's no good strip clubs in Brooklyn.
What? You don't count pumps?
No, I don't even know. I've never even been there, so I can't say.
It's a go-go bar. It's not good.
And so, last night he proved me 100% wrong. Started off with a freaking triple double, and it's just like I'm curious what that new Nets team is gonna be like with Kyrie in it, because they're like, everybody's joking that they're not gonna pass. Like, how do you pass the ball? Like, who's gonna pass the ball? Like, how are you gonna facilitate and all this stuff? And then you have James Harden, just he's like 11 assists, right? 11 assists
Yeah,
last
like
night.
I think he might have 14 or
14?
something
Oh
like
yeah,
in that range.
yeah, and it was just like I watched the highlights because I'm not a Nets fan, I'm a Knicks fan, so I'm just watching just out of bitterness at this point. And I was just like, nobody wants to come to the Knicks, like come here. And so I was just like watching the highlights, and they just look smooth together. And you have Joe Harris with the gun to like whenever they need somebody to just have open, because they're going to be doubling and tripling as much as KD as possible, and now you got to double Harden too, so it's just going to be.
I like the trade's cool. Obviously, being in Brooklyn, like it helps like the energy of the city as far as like being a sports fan. I just don't get like how they just keep letting these big three teams happen.
Yeah,
like it's unfair.
Well, the NBA is what I like to call a players' league,
Of course,
where a lot of players can control their destiny, especially if you're a star, or you can control a lot of things that happen. And yes, you say, all right, how did another big three happen? But at the end of the day, I think Houston looked at it as, we're going to give this guy kind of what he wants, but at the same time, we're going to try to get better for the future. And I guess they did that with all the draft picks per se. Was I happy to see James Harden in Brooklyn? I still think the Lakers are a more complete team, but I am intrigued to see how Harden, KD, with Kyrie coexist together. Kyrie is the big piece.
Yeah, Kyrie is the big what if. Now, Luke, as a Knicks fan, what did this make you feel like?
This made me feel very sad. This just reminded me of the Melo trade, but like on the other, like, and the only thing is just like they kept some of their stars. I don't know how the Knicks did it last time, where we just lost everybody. They took like the janitor too. It was crazy.
I just don't get, like, if this doesn't work out, the Nets are fucked.
No, that's the thing. That's exactly why it's like, it looks like exactly like the Melo trade, where it's like, if this doesn't work, you're going to see like what the Knicks are right now, or like where the Knicks were like 5 years ago, you're going to see the Brooklyn Nets immediately.
Well, I think it's definitely identical to the KG and Paul Pierce trade.
Yeah.
That's it. The Nets like to do this. They like to go all in and then, hope for the best. But but teams are doing that, and it's always a way to just combat LeBron, and it's why my biggest gripe against LeBron, like, everybody wants to be like, oh yeah, he's the GOAT, blah blah blah, but the thing is that he doesn't, like, he's not a player for a team. He's definitely about himself, and like he shifts the landscape of the NBA everywhere he goes, or like all his the what he does and all everything that he does, like, making that team, like, you have the Lakers have two once in a lifetime basketball players. Like, how do you compete against that? And that's, now you have these answers of just people, like, teams are just putting together three of the best players together to try to combat that.
Well, we always say, people always say, well, damn, like, this is all done to beat LeBron. And, I do agree. But at the same time, I remember in 2010 when LeBron said, I'm going to join up with two all NBA players. And that was a first. I can't remember another situation where three guys that were in their prime. LeBron at 2010 he's like 25, 26 years old.
Yeah.
So when he teamed up with Wade and Chris Bosh. Now, unfortunately, and every move he's made since then. When he went to Cleveland, he had Love and he had Kyrie. And then when he went to the Lakers, it was kind of like, all right, well, I'll sit the first year, with Lonzo and Brandon Ingram, but my second year, I need Anthony Davis. So he's always, figured it out. But what I will say is, yes, like Golden State, when KD went and played with Steph, like I was in shock. I was like, this is bullshit. And to see this Nets team, I feel like it's kind of bullshit, but what can you do? What can you do?
The only reason I think this team's more balanced is because they have such strong personalities that, like, I don't think it's gonna work, man. I really don't. I don't see it working.
I don't think it's going to work because they have Mike D'Antoni as their assistant coach. And
Yeah.
and I didn't know that until this morning. Yeah, because I don't pay attention to the Nets. And then when I was watching the highlights, they were like, "Oh yeah, Mike D'Antoni." I'm like, "What? Why is he there?" Because you have Steve Nash, but like they're gonna run that 7 seconds or less. So there's gonna be no defense, and it's the reason why Houston lost in the playoffs. So you're just gonna continue to lose.
Loves this.
No, I love the 7 seconds or less because I have a joke about 7 seconds or less, and I equate how the police officers they must be Phoenix Suns fans because they like to shoot people in 7 seconds or less. So when I hear
Oh shit!
when I hear 7 seconds or less, that's the first thing I think of the cops. So it's like, yeah, that was Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni when they played with the Suns. When D'Antoni was the coach of the Suns, they had all this offensive firepower, but they weren't able to beat San Antonio or teams that can get a defensive stop. So I'm very interested to see what happens with this team.
They're gonna pull Amari Stoudemire out of Israel, put him on the Nets because they need a big man. I bet. I'm gonna say this right now. That's what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know how long Harden has left on his contract with Adidas?
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but it needs to end soon because them sneakers is ugly.
Sidebar: Amari Stoudemire is a player development assistant for the Nets as well. So they brought all these guys on board to help Steve Nash. So
he's gonna be player coach.
Yeah, that's what he is. It's his first year as a head coach, man. He's got an all-star, assistant team. He's got Jacques Vaughn, who was the interim coach for them. He's got D'Antoni. He's got all these guys. So they're trying to make it work for Nash. They're trying to make him seem like he's Steve Kerr, but they gave Steve Kerr had a monster lineup or a team, and same thing with Nash.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I think Nash has the most work to do because that's trying to make the pieces cohesive, like make everybody cohesive. That's the challenge. That's the real challenge.
Yeah.
And he has the hardest job out of anybody in there, I think. Well, I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know, but also
head
Harden,
coach Luke.
Exactly. Yeah. As a head coach myself of Harden has his 2 years left on his contract with Adidas.
He does.
2022-2023 season.
Okay, it's just interesting to me because Haas, like you said, I was gonna lean into he's got ugly ass sneakers.
Oh, I thought you guys were just gonna leave me hanging on that one. Like,
No.
Well, I ended up on a podcast where everybody loves the Harden shoes.
No,
Two rules on Sub Podcast. One, don't choke your laces. I ignored that one. Two, Harden sneakers are the best sneakers.
So Nike has the only sort of lifestyle wearable basketball sneakers right now. I think with Harden next to those guys, I think in him willing to just hop around, I feel like he might be I might be a Nike boy.
Nah.
You don't think so?
I think that money, Harden.
He might be a Reebok guy though.
He's gonna be coming out in Reebok Originals.
Because I did say a while ago that he has been fucking with questions.
Yeah. I could see it totally. I could see that totally happening. If who's getting it? Master P? Master P's trying to get it?
Yeah.
Baron Davis.
Yeah.
Baron Davis and Master P is trying to get it.
I have no update on that. I've been trying to check in with all my insiders over there going do you guys know anything? But no one's saying anything.
Everybody's dude, they're probably just I gotta get work done. I don't care.
Yeah,
they get paid.
They don't like media Chris. They like design Chris, where they're hey, can you help me with this project? Yeah, let's go take a look. I'll go look through it with you, whatever. But I'm also hey, so what's good with Master P? They're nah, Chris, shut up.
You pass it through? You just
I could totally see Harden moving to Reebok at the end of his contract.
That would be cool. I'd be down with that. I mean, he already has 2 questions.
I am trying to rack my brain. Who is the Reebok basketball player? That's
John Wall.
Oh yeah.
John Wall was the guy, but he's Adidas now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He literally got stolen by Adidas.
That was why. Is that why they merged the companies?
It's that whole thing was weird. I was working at Reebok when they it first happened, and they're Adidas owns us, but they're also our competitor. I was this is weird. And then they did this whole thing where they got Iverson to have John Wall come, and they like playing basketball together. Had this whole meeting like, lifetime contract with these guys is the move. And then he got the contract done, but then when Reebok started slipping, they're like, all right, we're just going to take him for Adidas. And it was a weird thing. I've never seen anything like that happen before.
I don't think they can do that.
I thought so, but then also. Kevin Durant had a lifetime contract with Adidas, and he was just like, yeah, you know what? I'm kind of done with you guys. And then he just walked away, and they let it happen.
Kevin Durant had a lifetime contract with Adidas?
No, Kevin Garnett, excuse me.
Oh, Garnett, yeah.
Oh,
Garnett.
Yeah, yeah, Kevin Durant. That'd be funny. If you guys didn't check me on that, I would have been mad. No, it's supposed to be Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, Garnett, right?
Yeah.
I want to talk to Haas about something because he had messaged me and he was talking about Clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yo, you should come Clubhouse. We talk about sneakers there. And me, Haas, you are not the first person to try to get me to embrace Clubhouse.
Right.
Luke and Chris has tried it. And I'm not a fan of Clubhouse. But I want to talk to you about your experience. You said you talk about sneakers in Clubhouse.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was with you. I was literally about maybe a day away from deleting the damn app. And then I scroll down a little bit lower and notice that there's other rooms that aren't just hip hop based and people trying to scream at each other. And they're much smaller. And I found a couple like sneaker based rooms where the people are just talking about like, hey, are you going to cop, the recent room was like, are you going to cop the Starfish 13s? And then come in there where we talk about it. We had people talk about, the most like yesterday was the funniest was because the question was, would you, if you're on a line for a pair of kicks and a lady tries to jump the line in front of you and ask you, hey, if she has her kid with her and she's like, he has to use the bathroom, can you let me skip? Will you do it?
No.
And yeah, and everybody's just like, no, what's wrong with you?
Not even close.
And so like, it's definitely a mix of, you get to hear resellers talking about how they work and how what they do. Like, it's a lot of it is it's opened up like how people move in that like I've never heard, because when you see resellers, everybody's already immediately just being like, oh, this guy's a reseller, he's gonna like try to get you, and but it's people, you get the other side of actually talking to them, because you're not talking to them in the line, because now when you're in a line with them, it's all competition at that point. It's like, okay, I got to get these pairs now because else I'm not going to eat,
Yeah.
So it's definitely yeah.
Can you explain to me, like to us, to the listeners, like how did you get into the whole sneaker culture? How did you get into it?
Me?
Yeah.
Me, it was, I don't know why I said it that way, but
me? You asking me?
So, I talked about a little bit on my podcast, but it's definitely what started was I didn't have money growing up, so I had to pick either like just watching. Like I've always been a Jordan fan, and I didn't get any Jordans until like my one Christmas, and it was the Jordan, I think 15s, and I still will never, like, it's a pair that I love that I had them, but I would never get them again. And
I was gonna say, yeah, the 15. You're gonna die on the 15 hill.
Yeah. And so that I knew I had to pick either sneakers or like looking fresh or video games, and video games were longevity. So I would always just pick video games until I was picking video games until I got my first job at GameStop, and then I didn't have to pick video games at all anymore, because then I would get games for free. And I would just use all my money on sneakers. And when that happened was around the time where dunks started being a thing. So I love the one, and the dunks are basically a silhouette of the one. And so when I found the Nike SB, I found NikeSB.org. So I was part of NikeSB.org, the forums there, and I just like, it opened up like this can of worms, and I just could not stop after that. And that's how I started.
How big are forums, man? Like, because we talk about, like, we just talked about Clubhouse, which for the listeners out there, it's an audio based app where you can, move, like you said, you can move around in virtual rooms, and then Haas, you also mentioned like being part of the forums at Nike SB.org.
Yeah.
And I grew up, and my era is the Nike Talk forums.
Yep.
And
the
Luke,
easy boards, I was like part of that. I was part of that, but like Nike Talk forums, all the sneaker talk forums. I was like, when easy boards were a thing, I was in all of them. So But that's like, that was definitely the start, because a lot back then it was all about community. And I think what definitely pulled me in was community, because growing up as a only child, you want to look for friends as wherever you can, and that just pulled me in. Once you hear stories and you talk to people about the same thing that you fall in love with, then it just changes. You just lose yourself in it.
For sure, man.
Chris and Luke, were you guys ever like really into like the forums, like the sneaker forums or any forums back in the day?
Yeah, I was.
Of course.
I was in the sneakerheads forums like every day.
I was in
just trying to look up deals and all that shit. It was my favorite. Was just like talking to people about different shit that they wanted and what we wanted. It was great.
What's interesting to think about is that the blog shit is like, so like Nike Talk, all these ones we're talking about, Nike was like looking at that shit and using our feedback. Again, I mean, even just look at sneakers right now, right? So they took that formula of like looking at these blogs and then gaining information to go move forward with. They translated that exactly to sneakers. We have been the original curators of this shit, like blog commenters, all that shit. Like we were the first guys to really help propel this forward. I feel like that's the base of this, and I feel like everybody had a blog sort of era. Before you were checking Hypebeast, you were talking to each other on like AIM chats or whatever. Like AOL, even back to AOL, probably I was talking to people about sneakers, skate shoes.
Yeah,
I mean, I think for me it was definitely like, I think I grew up in a school that, like, a high school where people were talking about kicks or like trying to get kicks. So I mean, I went to Hell High. I don't know if you guys know about Washington Irving down in Manhattan, and it was a very, very bad school, but I survived. And and so like, everybody was just like, oh, don't step on my kicks, or you get into fights, and you see all of this, and you see how much sneakers matter to people, and then you just fall into it when you get into it too.
Yeah, it definitely, like you said earlier, it was a community, and how far back are you talking? Maybe 10, 12 years ago? Like when you first really got into it?
2008 is probably, I want to say, because that's when I started working for myself.
So and it definitely, and I can go back maybe even 5-6 years before that, and where I can remember just things being a community, being kind of like, it wasn't as cutthroat obviously as it is now, because everyone and their mother is some form wants to resell because of the ideas that you can get rich off of this shit.
And I think what plagues the sneaker culture now is that everybody makes it look easy. Like they're just like, oh, just spend a couple $100 on some bots and you'll be able to get 5 pairs of this and just put it on StockX and you'll instantly make blah blah blah. And it just seems easy. Back then it was just, all right, did you get a pair? Can I trade this pair? And then then you have to like worry about trading the pair, or trying to sell it and money orders. But now it's all easy.
Yeah, Western Union scam shit.
Yeah.
Bro, I'll tell you, I don't know if I've ever said this, but I remember in college I bought 2 pairs of Uncle Dunks, and I remember selling one to who I didn't know who he was at the time. Turns out he was a dude that I went to high school with. And he was like, yo, how can I pay you? And I was like, send me a money order. So he sends me a money order and he sends it from Brooklyn to Rochester, New York, where I was going to school at. You understand, like, sending someone a money order in this day and age, like, crazy. I could have just took the fucking money and then just been like, thank you.
Yeah.
But that community was like, I wouldn't scam anyone. You sent me a $300 money order, I'm going to cash it and I'm going to send you your goods. It's so different now, man.
Wait, you sold your Uncle Dunk for $300?
Dude, it's 2004. Yeah, bro.
Inflation, bro. What are you talking about? He's chilling.
I paid $130 for. Listen, let me tell you. I paid $130 for each sneaker. So I paid $260 to the skate shop, and I sold the one pair for $300. In my mind, I'm walking away with $40 and a free pair of sneakers. I fucking won. Now,
that's a win.
Yeah,
that was a win. In 2004, no, because it's just you look at in 2004, dude, you think I was gonna walk out and be like $1,000 for these? No, you couldn't sell those for $1,000. But now you get a pair of Uncle Dunks, or if I still had them dead stock, I could have sold them for $3,000.
Yeah.
But hindsight,
because you said the word dead stock, I was listening to the previous episode, and sorry to cut it off.
no, do you think?
Yeah, but so was it Luke or Chris that said the original
it was
term?
me. The dead stock thing is so annoying to me. I can't get over it. People are just using that term wrong.
And it changed like the way I thought about it, because I opened my podcast with unds your favorite pair, and now you're just like, okay, now I'm gonna have to change the opening of my podcast.
Yeah, Chris, what the fuck? You're such a dick, dude.
The term dead stock though, no, but I mean the term dead stock, I guess you talk about it literally, and me and Lawrence talk about it, I guess, the forum way, because that was definitely the forum's way of saying like, this is brand new.
Brand new dead stock, man. I think dead stock is taking on such a different evolution and like now, because like back in the day, like I don't know, I feel like a lot of people will try to pass off like dead stock means, to me, it's never been touched, never been nothing. But people nowadays, they try them on, they do different things. It's
that's another thing.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, you're right. Dead stock is supposed to be not touched. I think that's part of like where the term sort of evolved, is like, because now these kids, everybody wants everything, everyone's looking for shit. So like dead stock is like a term that you see. It's like, oh, it hasn't been touched. But then people like try them on, and then they go dead stock. It's like, yo, I see you holding the sneaker in your picture.
Well, even if you go to Flight Club, when Flight Club, people trying on sneakers don't buy them, and then Flight Club still can still sell the sneaker to someone else.
Crazy. I mean, I thought about it a while back, like not a while back, like last week. I was like, how can you buy a shoe, right? And then like what I noticed is that when you buy a brand new shoe, the shoes is not laced. But then if you buy it from Foot Locker, the shoe is laced. And then it's like that difference is like, okay, so then somebody tried it on, because they don't release shoes with them already laced up. And I didn't put that together until like last week.
Oof.
So by the true definition, Haas, do you have a dead stock pair?
Yeah. I have.
What's your favorite dead stock pair that you have?
It's probably my Levi's Jordan 4s, the white ones.
What year was that?
2016, 17, I think 17.
I know the blue ones came out the year before, right?
Yeah. See, it's even weird for me though. The shoe only 5 years old is dead stock.
Yeah.
To me, that's like some 15 shit.
Well, I did have. Well, it's because I unds'd two of my favorite pairs. Check out my podcast, but check it out. But I had two silver era SBs that I just held for like forever. I had a pair of Ghost SBs, and I had a pair of Irons, and they were both dead stock, like legit, like never touched. They were like not even put on laces. I had to put the laces on both of them. So for the past 2 New Years, I wore both of them. So now they're not.
Not respect. I get that.
Yeah. We used to have a joke whenever we were trying to sell our sneakers to each other. Like if they were like beat up, they'd be like, "Yo, it's VVVVVVNDS."
Yeah. No, I got a story. I copped a pair of purple pigeons, and the dude messaged me, and this is on Nike SB, and I'm just like, "Yeah, I want these." Whatever. He sold me for like 180. I guess he just needed money bad or something like that. And this is like the height of purple pigeons. And then so I'm just like, all right, cool. I'll cop them all for you. And this guy goes, yo. I'm just like, yo, because I'm an amazing haggler. Like if you talk to me, I can haggle you down, right? And so I'm trying to get this guy to like 150, right? And this guy's like, listen, they're very, very, like I've only worn them once. And then I'm gonna tell you, man, I wore them once. I went to a movie theater, so I wasn't even like wearing them. I was just sitting down. So, like, yo, you can't even tell I wore them. And I'm just like, listen, dude, just here you go. Here's the money. Just give me the shoes.
And correction, the Levi's came out in 2018.
That's so new to call dead stock. You know what I mean? You get like why I have the weird tension with it?
I guess. I don't know, man. We get it. You know, we get it.
Yeah. Nah, it's old head shit. It's old head shit. I'm just
really
on my old head
shit right now.
This is usually Lawrence's bag.
It's not like I'm saying, hey, my Jordan 5 Off-Whites are dead stock to you specifically when you asked me that question.
No, yeah,
I feel
for
like
sure.
5 years is 5 years. Why am I saying 5 years? Wait, 4 years? No, 2
Three.
years.
3 years.
3 years.
3 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
See, 2020 does not exist in my brain. All right?
it doesn't.
The year that nothing happened. But I think like if it sits for a year and you don't wear it or don't touch it, like that's dead stock, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the term updated. I'm just being, the old guy.
Being
right now.
salty grandpa Chris over here.
You gotta
Just
go
salt.
to the next time you're in a line, just be like, hey man, how old's your most recent death stock? Or
Wait,
whatever.
a
What's your
line?
favorite death
What's
stock?
that? We're still doing that?
A lot of these resellers don't even get to that because they fucking move the product immediately anyway. So it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, they
You-
selling screenshots.
Yeah.
Yo, you guys are talking about that Nike Dunk by You. Oh man, I was so pissed at that.
Oh,
shit.
we covered that a little bit last week, but what was your opinion? Did you try to get them? How did it go for you?
Yeah, I made a basically a unfutura reverse Futura. I'll show it to you guys later.
Okay.
But I was pissed because it was very cheap what they were doing because they color blocked you, so you can only do
Right.
the
Yeah.
toe box connected, and then you can only do the back connected, and then the other two, like you could interchange the swoosh, and like all that stuff. But and the midsole. But I think like color blocking like that was very like it pissed me off because I couldn't get as creative I want. Like I wanted a different top toe box. Like why do I need to have that all to be the same material? But then once I settled it and I settled and I made it, sharing it with my friends and they were like, oh yeah, this is dope. You guys, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, all right, cool. And then my guest from last week, Iffy Nawadaway, we both were just like talking about it and we're just like, yeah, we're gonna get it. And then I logged on because I saw the Nike Twitter post about, hey, they're live. I go and I'm like, oh snap, they don't have 13s and I'm a size 13. And that's when I just gave up. But I tweeted it out and I was like, yo, Iffy, don't even look because we're both 13s. And I'm just like, yo, don't even look, don't even bother looking. And then he's just like, what? You can't be serious, right? He responded back to me. And then I go and I was like, I was on the women's sizes. So I go to switch to men's and then I just sold out after that. I couldn't get it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't remember not going to 13, but I'm a 9, so I don't go up past that 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. And then I saw like people were posting the pictures of what's going on eBay with the freaking shoe about how dudes are
Gross.
just making are just making like colors and then calling it like colorways and being like, hey, $450 for this. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
It's crazy.
And I can't believe Lawrence agreed that that was a good move.
Listen, I'm like I said, I don't. Here's the best way for me to put it. As a person who has made IDs and then actually sold an ID, I hate it, but I understand it. If that makes sense, I understand the game. So would I pay $450 for a Nike by You dunk? No, but I sold Cactus Plant Air Force One, the shits from last year. I've sold Kobe 9, IDs. It's 5-6 years ago, so I get it. Now, am I a fan of it? No, it fucking sucks because like you, like me, like Luke, like Chris, we were all on that website at noon trying to make a pair of dunks that we had in our carts for 4 or 5 days at that point. And it does suck. And I feel like Nike, this falls on Nike. Like you're $1 billion company and you can't properly run a website so people don't lose their designs. Fucking sucks.
I mean, it just doesn't make sense because like I think I don't know how do you run out of material? Like what I don't get how do you.
In theory, you should just make another batch then.
Yeah.
Like it's you're making pure white dunks and then you're just gonna customize or whatever. I don't know how it works honestly. How would that work, Chris?
They're painting it.
Yeah. Well, they obviously did it on purpose. They probably had like a limit to the material at first, and then once they ran out, they were like whatever. But you think about the other IDs. You never have seen an ID run out except this dunk in the peak of dunk height.
Right.
So that was obviously a planned thing, because if you work that's something out with the factory where you can like customize whatever, then they just have that material on board all the time.
Right.
Like some of that material is also used on other shoes, not just Dunks. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
clearly
Yeah.
that was on purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is why you think it was limited to 5,000?
I
Because
don't
that's like
know.
one batch run.
Well, I think it's depending on, yeah, it's either quantity or I don't know what they did. It's just such a weird thing. It's just obvious they did it on purpose.
It's done to keep the hype train moving. Like, you know what I'm saying? If they made these so obtainable for people, then then what? But you make it so limited. But then also, that's twofold because it can it turn people off.
Mhm.
But it doesn't turn enough people off where there's some type of boycott or there's some type of change that Nike is gonna do. It's just like, fuck it, we're gonna keep making shit limited. What you gonna do? You either
Yeah.
you're still gonna tune into sneakers for the next dunk drop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I
It's a
think,
fact.
but as like a creative person, I definitely don't think I'm gonna go back. Like, unless they make it more like, because like if you look at how they do the Air Forces, you customize the Air Force, right? You can customize every little bit of it,
Mhm.
and for them to short us like they did with that, I just felt a certain way about it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. I saw so many people that was upset about that toe box because that's it's how Nike moves, man. It's just how they do us consumers. They give you, it's just the same thing I talked about or back in the days what Jordan Brand would do with Gentry Humphrey. So
Yep.
he would give you everyone wanted Nike Air on the back of the sneaker, but he would give you the Jumpman. But then on the bottom of it, it would say Nike,
Right.
the bottom of the shoe, because it's like, we're going to give you something, but we're not going to give you all. Or like, we'll give you Nike Air on the back of the shoe, but we'll give you the Jumpman on the bottom of it. It's always a twist with them because that's how they keep us like the fucking hamster on that hamster wheel. And we just keep like, oh, one day we're going to get that cheese. And it's like, it's just, they don't give a fuck. They ain't going to make their money.
I'm confused on like who's making more money, Nike or the resellers?
So
Nike is the resellers. At the end of the day, Nike is the resellers. I truly believe, Chris, you said that. They're not you said they're Foot Locker's partnering with Gold and or whoever. They're all these little guys are moving together. It's like
we are as the consumer is definitely the only one really not making money on this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you are a consumer, you are being consumed by everything involving a check, and your bank account is empty. Everyone else is making money.
mm-hmm.
For sure.
That's 100% right. And
Yeah.
it's just weird, like for a custom like your own custom shoe to be like, all right, we're not gonna have enough material. Like let's short the material so that people are gonna want more of it.
So Haas, just because you literally said, we're talking about custom shoes. Something that we covered, almost beaten to a dead horse, is this Warren Lotus thing.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Okay, so I just want to hear your opinion on not maybe him specifically, but just like kind of bootlegs and where they are now. Just because we're talking about people reselling custom shoes for $400, but then Nike is suing a kid for making, you know what I mean? Like, and there's plenty of other bootlegs. Just what's your thoughts on it?
So I guess I'm gonna come at this from a weird perspective because I definitely was talking to myself as I listened to you guys talk about this. So my perspective is like I found reps as a thing, like replica sneakers, and like they just look exactly like those, like the original shoe. So it's interesting if you fall down that rabbit hole of just paying retail for a replica shoe, and you're gonna get the shoe that you want. It's just not coming from Nike. It's coming from some guy.
So by replica, you're saying like a fake knockoff.
Yeah, except I guess because there's a different lane with it. Because like fake and knockoffs, like they just made the shoe, but they made it how they saw it looked out in a picture, right? Yeah. Versus a replica where they bought the molds from a person at Nike and just used different material to make the shoe.
Okay.
So it's very crazy. Like that during last year or the year before when I found it, that took off, but it took off silently. And I found like people were just like, you can buy the top 10, you can buy all top 10s, right? Retail price right now. and it looks exactly like the shoe. And the only thing is that they just smell like glue.
So you're kind of part of the thing that we've been trying to trying to get at is
Yeah.
like, is it okay to wear these types of things or not? And you're saying yes. Like if I handed you a Warren
Right.
Lotus dunk and go,
I think customs in general, like customs is cool, like, but I think it has to be a unique design. And what I was trying to say was just like, you already have people just making like the actual shoe that comes out, the hype shoe out and selling it off the side, and then you have Warren Lotus or like you have like people like Mosh and people doing like that. Like they just take a mold and just they make it themselves. They make the shoe themselves. Like that's different. And I think like the Warren Lotus stuff, I thought it was just interesting, but I feel like dude shouldn't have been like selling it for 400 and then also get sued by like that much too.
yeah.
Sorry for going off the tangent.
Nah, dude, no. I don't know, man. Because
like, all right, hold on. Let me pose a question to you guys. All right, so I brought up the reps. Would you wear any of the top 10s, but from a guy from China that made it with a Nike mold, or would you wear a Warren Lotus $400 shoe, or like a custom shoe like that?
Oh, which would we rather? That's a good one.
I rather neither, but I mean, can I say neither, or I have to wear one?
No,
You have
gun
to
to your
wear
head.
one.
Gun to your head.
You go into the club, and those are the two shoes. Those are the two shoes you have to pick.
In the club setting, I think I'm just gonna rock the fakes. You know what I mean? I would the fake off-white joints.
Now they're so good you can't get called out on them, right? So it's just a moral dilemma.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
You paid retail.
I'm kind of with all right, I said this before. Initially, I was not like with this Warren Lotus kid, but because of the story and, like some nerd sneaker shit, like I love like how the thing's rolled out and like he kind of turned me over now that you can't get him.
Yeah. Well, all right. So, because now you guys just rock my brain about this. Ari, you remember the Aris?
Menthol 10s.
Yeah, Menthol 10s. They were just ripped off Air Force Ones, right?
No, not really.
So the Ari thing is like this. The Ari thing is like a crazy exception to all this because when you're the first to kind of do something, there's some leeway on like how it's looked at. There wasn't people just like, China was making fake shoes, but there wasn't a guy going like, yo, I'm gonna make my own version of this. So that's why a lot of people bring him up. It's sort of like he's like the Roe v. Wade of this type of thing.
Okay.
No, but actually, I fucking hate that, but it's right.
It's exactly what it is. He's like he's the first example because not only was it he did his own packaging, he you could Bape is kind of in there, which kind of also makes this a little rocky, but Ari had A Life to back him up, so it was like an official release. It wasn't just some guy on a website. He had the whole packaging. He had a story. There was like something to it. It was more than just selling an Air Force One. So that's why the Ari thing is a little different here. Going back to like what's going on now, it's looked at badly just because so many other people are doing it, and like it's a question of intent. But the Ari thing is kind of different, if that makes sense.
But if you're just remixing a mold or a model, like
right,
it's the same thing that Ari did. And
yeah, but Ari was the first one to do it, so that's why it's different. You know what I mean? It's a perplexing thing, and that's why I always like talking about it because like it's a giant gray area in this community where like
but
some
I also
people
think like
no go
right, but how do you create growth in enhancing models or like because like for me it's all about the sneaker model, like the actual form of the shoe, like what they're using to build upon, and like how do you progress that so that people are more creative to remix it or to make their own version of a shoe and without them given a chance to this.
What do you think about the Courtsta and the Skatesta, the new Bape shoes that are coming out that look exactly like a One and SB?
I've never been a fan of Bape, so I can't.
Damn.
Like I was never a fan of Bape because of them just stealing models and not coming up with their own.
but they were using different materials.
Oh my god.
Man, you look like a fool right now.
The main problem is that you could talk about this forever.
You really
Yeah.
could, but that's what that's what every clubhouse room was when we were doing it. We would just go on there and just talk about different materials and all that shit. It's great.
Yo, I ruined so many clubhouse rooms by mentioning Warren Lotus.
You really did.
Like, everyone starts off with like the what you think a culture vulture is. They try to talk about Ronnie, like where he came from, what his quarters credit is, and then I go, yo, what about Warren Lotus? And everyone, it turns into the shouting shit.
Oh shit.
I think why Warren Lotus is getting a little bit of this, like, I don't know, hate on it from a business perspective is because he added onto a logo, and that's copyright infringement, or like,
Right.
If he took the whole swoosh out and then put the Jason mask right there, it'd be a totally different story. But because he did that, and it's the same thing with like when Ari did the upside down check, like it wasn't the actual check. It was thicker, all that stuff.
It was the Newport logo.
It was the Newport
Yeah.
logo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I mean, but like, it was still like he did not put the actual check on upside down, like if he did that, then without Nike's permission, then we would have the Warren Lotus conversation back in 2003.
Well,
Right.
no, that was Nike's argument, is that they said it was an upside down swoosh, and then Ari said, well, no, it's supposed to be a menthol, a Newport symbol.
Right, yeah.
By the way, you guys have the same symbol. Why aren't you guys fighting each other?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember making that joke in high school too. But it was like, but it's also like, but I was talking about more of like a sneakerhead conversation, like this conversation, not a lawyer in a courtroom.
Right.
Right.
I don't know. It's just something. One of my goals is to like find a lane where everyone can sort of like say yes to one thing and no to another. Like, Bape is cool because of this, and that makes this Warren Lotus shit not cool. There's like no consistency, and that's why you could just talk in circles. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but this is why I was saying, like, the reason why I didn't get into Bape is because they just stole the models instead of just making, like, you can slap your logo on any other shoe and be like, hey, these are the Chris's, but I'm just not I'm not gonna be like, okay, these are dope unless you've got like the materials, as Luke was saying, to match. But I just never thought it clicked for me.
Yeah, I feel
like, especially because Bapes were using a lot of patent leather, and I'm with Lawrence on, like, I'm not a big fan of patent leather.
Yeah, I get that.
Let's I'm not sure how much time we got left, but I do want to, we do have maybe one or two more topics. One topic that I definitely want to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, where can we find you at again?
At Not That Cheney on all social media accounts.
Luke?
At Trovese on all social media accounts.
I'm LZD 325 on all social media accounts. Haas, give me your social media information.
Yeah, I am at whoishass on all social media, and my podcast is my first kicks pod on all social media,
which is a great podcast. I did it. Take a listen.
Yeah,
we had some really good conversations about sneaker fights, sneaker lines, shit like that. So that was cool. I did kind of want to, like I said, I don't know how much time we really have left, but I did want to get into this really quick topic. We saw the Bacon Air Max 90.
Yes.
Yeah.
We saw that leak, that the official photos, or we saw a first look at the sneakers.
Back like last Air Max day, there was like, I guess, leaked photos where we were kind of anticipating it being a part of that drop. It didn't end up happening. Like many of these things, you see the photo of these like a year and a half before they actually come out. It's like being like trying to keep up with these as like a media outlet. Like, it's crazy to like to see things like 2 years before you actually really have to talk about them. But yeah, well, I mean, Lawrence, I know you're hyped for this.
I'm really hyped for those. Yeah. So, I love Air Max 90s. I think those and the ones are like two of my favorite models. And this Bacon, is such it brings back such memories and shit. So I'm like kind of hyped for hopefully I can, get a pair of those.
Haas, how do we feel?
I want them so bad.
know.
I never got a chance to get them because I was not like I wasn't in the sneaker game heavy at that time. But when I learned about them, these are the Bacons, the Dave Quality Meats Bacons, right?
Yeah.
Doing over.
DQM.
And so like I used to be the basically visiting DQM like every single day. And then when I heard about the Bacons, I was just like, I need to have them because DQM was one of my favorite stores. I wish it would come back instead of being a Vans store. But yeah.
Yeah, that lineage is really weird. Well, wait, Luke, I don't remember what your take on him was.
Oh no, I'm excited for him too.
Yeah, you're down to it. Yeah,
come on.
That's one of the top 10s I think of that model, if for collabs, to be honest.
Yeah, it's an amazing model. The only problem, once again, that we deal with is Nike. And when we say Nike, it's okay. We know everyone wants these, so let's make them super limited. Let's drop them on Air Max Day. Let's make people jump through hoops just to get a nice pair of Air Max 90s. And that part I'm very wary about.
This is a shoe that I like hearing about from older sneakerheads, just because of the shit that went on behind the scenes with Dave's Quality Meats.
Mm-hmm.
So Dave, obviously being a person, for some of the people who don't know, he was actually pushed out of the store business, which is when they started calling it DQM instead of Dave's Quality Meats.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk to old heads, like one of my associates, like Chris Vidal, who used to work at Flight Club, whatever, he would be like, yo, I don't fuck with that shit because I fuck with Dave. And you're like, oh, like people really hold on to grudges like that, and will attach that to the sneaker. It's really interesting. So if you have an older sneakerhead in your life, ask them about DQM, especially if you're in the New York City area, just to hear what their thoughts on it are.
I mean, that concept store, I'm a big fan of concept stores, and I remember walking in there and seeing the meat hanging and stuff like that, and everybody wearing the aprons. I was just like, I'm in love.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, that's another L I can hear in the back of my head, but hopefully some of us can grab some of those.
Listen, we got to keep becoming a successful sneaker-based podcast so that we don't have to deal with L's.
I'm gonna tell you this: if I take a loss on those in the fucking neutral gray 85 Jordan 1 highs, I'm gonna flip out this year. I'm not with the shits.
I thought you were gonna be like, and I'm gonna hang it up now.
Nah. I ain't with the shits. So.
He's gonna stop repping Nike altogether.
Would you anything that's coming out this year that any of you guys would be like, you know what, if I don't get them, I'll just pay resale?
Ooh, I don't know yet. You know what? Those what do you call it? Those turbo blue, the powder blue Jordan 1s coming out.
Mm-hmm.
They're UNC ones, with the suede. I like those a lot. I'm gonna try to get those.
I don't think there's anything I would necessarily buy for resale, but what I will say is, going back to Warren Lotus, those dunks, if I could buy a pair, because I'm down to pay for a joke.
Mm-hmm.
I'll spend some money on a joke, and that to me is a good joke to spend money on, is rocking those.
The broccolinis, bro?
It's just something about those shoe now with the story, because people are going to look at that and know something. This is the thing. Sneakers are if you know culture. Yeah. That's the basis of this shit. So wearing those, that's the ultimate if you know. So I'd buy those for too much.
So you would that's what you would spend your money on as a joke. You wouldn't buy a
$500 bit.
I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. You wouldn't, Chris, there's nothing that you'd be like, man, I really want those. You're like, I want the joke sneakers. I want
that's Chris though.
Kind of. I mean, remember I bought that pair of soaps, the grinding sneakers for $175 on eBay. They're 15 years old. They were too small, but I bought them just so during the pandemic I can go to the skate park and skate on the shit. And I only did it 3 times.
I know. We've never seen a skate compilation of you using your soaps.
Yeah, we need that skate compilation.
Damn. You know what, guys? So the podcast did just make a TikTok. Maybe I'll go to the park and make a TikTok of me grinding on the shit.
Oh shit!
you got to play some Sum 41. It's got to be you got to match it in.
Got to go all the way in, dude.
All the way in.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's awesome.
So what about you, Lawrence? Which one?
If there's anything, I think I would pay resale. It would probably be whatever version of the Tom Sachs come out.
Yes.
Yeah. That's on brand. Good for you.
I remember
Right.
when the sneakers app posted that video. I sent it to you, right?
Yeah.
I was like, it's your chance, man. You better go be like, yo, I do construct. You better be like,
Nah.
Yeah.
man, I do construction, I do plumbing, I do all of this.
You got to give him. I think you got to give him back to to Nike after you wear test them. But I don't know, what if there's a prize for you if you wear testing them, they give you a pair.
It's gotta be that if you shoot them down, they'll give you a pair.
So
it makes no sense.
I've wear tested stuff, and this is for Reebok, so it's a different thing. But you do have to give them back. But they do give you a pair, but not the pair that you want. They give you basically like a gift card to the website. So that's my experience with it. I don't know if Nike's a little different, but yeah, you do have to give them back because they like examine them.
It's Nike. Come on. Don't forget what you just said 15 minutes ago about Nike. They're going to take them away from you, and they'll be like, custom Hirachis? Huh? They'll be in the Tom Sachs colorway?
How about some all black Air Force Ones for your help?
I mean, it'd be messed up, but I think they would. Tom Sachs would be like, "Yo, Lawrence, you killed it in these. Like you said, yo, you did. You went plumbing. I see the poop stains all over it. Like, yeah.
Oh damn! Why you give me straight like that?
That's hilarious. Nah, I listen. I've seen. I'm gonna be honest, and I think I talk about it to anyone who will listen. I think that every time I see someone wearing those, there's a part of me that's like, you fucking idiot. You should have just followed your lead and just did what you should have just got them in 2018 and the beginning of 2018 like you were supposed to. So I don't want to make that mistake again. So here we go.
What about you, Haas? You didn't tell us what you're looking forward to.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm a notorious no reseller person. So like if I don't get it, I just move on to the
Ooh,
next
trick question.
Nah, you got
question.
Gotta give us one. You gotta give us one, bro.
Gotta give us one. You don't have to actually go out and buy it on resale. Just tell us one you would.
I mean, I would
cop out like me and just say a non-Nike shoe.
Yeah. Nah, I probably if I had the money, I'd probably play resale for the Supreme Dunks.
That's fair.
Wow.
The
Straight beast.
Nah,
Yeah.
we got a shot, fellas. We got 4 pairs coming out. Let's have good vibes for all these sneakers in 2021, fellas.
Yeah.
So
that's right. But I think that's us. I mean, does anyone have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Haas, thank you for coming on, bro. I appreciate it,
absolutely.
man.
Yes. Thank you,
anytime.
Haas. Everybody make sure to check out his podcast, especially the one with Lawrence on there, if anything. And anything else?
Follow us on Sub Podcast NYC. Send us emails.
Discord.
Yeah, I got
That's
to
it.
Discord.
Join the
I'll
Discord,
send you a
bro.
link right after this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And sneakers are not a fine art.
We didn't even get into that. I guess we'll have to save that for another day. But so that's the episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next week.
Peace.